And welcome everybody, Ed Dale here, and I am joined by mentoring student, long-time friend actually, Guy Glover here today. And we're going to be talking about two things that are close to all our hearts. One is working with local businesses, one of the greatest opportunities. You might have recently seen me on a webinar with Caro McCordy with our new offline local hero project. And also mobile. And, I don't know if I've occasionally mentioned, just every now and then, pretty rarely really, that I think, smartphones and iPads are the way of the future. I'm trying to be on the down low about it, try not to hype it up too much. But you may be aware that I've got a vague interest in that area. And Guy is actually, for the longest time, ever since I've known him, is been really at the forefront of this whole area. And when he showed me what he had done in combining these two areas of interest, I thought this is fantastic and something that I want to show everybody. So I'm joined here by Guy, fellow Melbourneite. How are you going, mate?
Thanks, Ed. Yes, very well, thank you. Very well.
Excellent,
Good win,
excellent.
good win for your AFL team on the weekend.
It's our only win, thank goodness. Yes, it was. We were very pleased. Took Molly along too. It was great, and we saw a double rainbow. So it was a sign. All right. So what are you going to tell us about today, Guy?
Well, Ed, I'm going to show you guys just basically everything that I've been involved in. So I'll just touch off a little bit about myself, which I'll go in a second, but also this whole web to mobile and to customers. So everyone's sort of now walking around with a smartphone. There is a massive trend, so I'll touch on that as well, about how you can go and see what the penetration is in your local country and area and that sort of stuff. There's some great free tools, and then I'm going to show you just how easy it is to go and make a site and to basically take in your phone into your local businesses, whether it's a pub or a cafe, hairdresser, whatever, and do a before and after shot. So you've got the sizzle and the steak in your hand, and it makes it very easy. And the flow-on effects, Ed, are unreal. With just half a dozen of the venues that I've already got on board, I'm doing their websites, and it's everything that pretty much Caro touched on in the last webinar. So
yeah, it's definitely the case. I think what a lot of people need with local, starting a business or a consultancy in local businesses is that way in, a cool way of getting attention, because they're so busy. I don't know any local businesses that are just sitting around thinking, I wonder what our next marketing thing is. Let's have a 2-hour brainstorming session. Let's go off site. Of course, that doesn't happen because they're all so flat out. I've never known anybody in small business to be anything other than under the gun. So this is what I love. That this is a great way through, and it's often it's the entry. It's a very cool, very interesting, very, dare I say it, sexy way of getting attention, and then being able to obviously offer a whole bunch of services. And I should say too, Guy, just while I'm got the mic here, is that there is a questions box here in GoToWebinar. It is a live webinar, so would love to hear from people. If they've got some questions, feel free to ask those, and we'll have a more formal sort of Q&A at the end of the presentation, so please make sure you all stick around for that.
Cool.
Back to you.
Okay, well, let's get into it. Web to mobile customers, as I mentioned. This is go mobile or go broke. There's pretty much my sort of punchy line that I'm using. It's not that controversial, but I think at the end of this you'll see why that there's so many, I guess, missed opportunities and also missed traffic. And so why am I able to say all this sort of stuff? So I've found that this little My Tiny Ad, that's what I'm calling my little business, and not to dwell on how this sort of stuff. So I have been in the mobile space for quite some time, probably on the bleeding edge, and not not on the actual mainstream way. But so I founded a nice tech record .wap, and we were dealing with Palm 5s back then.
Oh, remember WAP?
Oh,
we had one of the first WAP sites. Remember at IQ, we had the sports stats and stuff. That's when it was on on the Nokia brick phones.
You were also walking around with Palm Pilots sitting in the ground, if I recall.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. We were
So
doing stat collection on Palm Pilots.
yeah, so to all those people in the US, Palm Sevens, I don't know if you remember them or not, but they wouldn't work down here in
No,
Australia or anywhere outside of the US for that matter because of the frequency that we're running on.
yeah, sad.
So that little check wreck was to make a cradle for the Palm 5 to get them to do WAP. Anyway, long
Yep.
story, we crashed. Nokia, I went off to Nokia. That was great. So again, involved in WAP and that sort of stuff. Then I founded this little company called Glovebox, and we're doing prepaid ringtones at the actual retail outlet. So I guess a little bit of experience in that retail space. We got it into Coles being like the Tesco or what's the equivalent in the US for supermarket chain?
Your
Not Best Buy or
Walmart.
anything.
Yeah, sort of
Walmart.
Walmarts.
So, I mean, that was my big pride of actually being on junk mail. So you can see my little Glovebox logo on there. So we've got 26,000 retail outlets, but we had the real music. I went to all the record labels and got the approval from them, the artists, etc., to do that. So that was sold that one. Then this is where it all sort of, back in 2006, I was making mobile apps before they were actually called apps. Back then they were called ODPs or on-device programs. So that was the sister company. So we actually, had some tech and that sort of stuff, and then one of our agents went and then sold it into MTV and Motorola, and we won the Best App Award for Southeast Asia in their Mobbed program, which was a TV program on MTV.
Yeah, because keep in mind, this is 2 years before the App Store arrived,
so
right?
we were dealing with telco, so anybody who's got a bugbear about Apple taking 30%, they changed the landscape. We had to deal with every telco taking 15%, and so if there was, 12 telcos in one country, we would have to deal with every single one of them if a national program like this would come on board. So it was ridiculous. And Apple's changed this landscape, and hallelujah. So that's anyway. That's about me. And then I did a lot of more stuff in Asia with Unilever. We did Ringtone Maker for Vietnam Idol and a couple of other things. So that was all pretty cool. This is when I got back involved in the fold with Ed Dale and did his mentoring course. I've got a online mobile company. We just send out the SIM cards. We don't do mobile phones, but doing that challenge and then doing the mentoring with Ed basically took it from being this little company that nobody could find to being on the number one ranked page for certain keywords and getting conversions of upwards of 5%. And so we're taking people's names and credit cards and their phone numbers and bringing them over to our business. So thanks, Ed.
No, my pleasure. Glad it works occasionally.
Yeah. So anyway, that's enough. That's enough about me.
Stuff we make up works.
Yeah. So I'll basically, it's know your audience. Yes, these are the key mobile marketing stats. I mean, and just so you know what's going on out there.
Yeah, some beauties here.
Yeah. So there's 4 mobile phones for every PC in the world, and actually, China doesn't really fit into that. They're actually 5 to 1, obviously because of the status over there.
Well, and did you see the iPhone growth?
Yes.
In 1 year. And to add to the China stat, there was 9 billion of Apple's revenue for the last 3 months was from China alone, and by the end of the year, there'll be more app downloads in China than the US. They'll become the #1 app downloading country by the end of the year on the current trajectory, which is phenomenal.
And I think what has they worked it out? It's going to be less than 2% of their population that will be doing those numbers. Something like that.
Yep.
Incredible. So you can see the stats there. I mean, this is all just sort of, to make you, I guess,
I think it's
more
important
aware.
though, Guy, because I think for a lot of people, and particularly in taking these stats and getting businesses, and as you're going to tell us the story very soon, to try get attention of local businesses, I think is one of the biggest challenges for establishing a local business consultancy. And you really have to smack them around the head to get any brain space at all. And I think when you see some of these, things, this is, by 2013, more people use their mobile phones than PCs to get online. I mean, that's unthinkable even 4 years ago. Unthinkable. You know, it's just phenomenal.
It's really been in the last 6 months, and I think the Christmas period and the holiday season has seen that there's been a massive, that was massive and smashing together.
Both, yes.
Both, yeah, like a chillax. Growth in these mobile devices getting into consumer hands.
Yeah.
And just touching on that, when I go in to see these local businesses, if they're not busy, they are actually playing on their smartphones. So the owner or the operators of these businesses are already sitting there in their downtime, killing time with these devices. So it's a great opener.
That is so funny. I hadn't even thought of that. But how often do you walk into if the shop is empty, they're actually on their mobile phone? Like I know my local cafe guy, Andy. If he's not behind the doing the barista duties, he's sitting there doing the bookwork and often looking at his iPhone. So interesting you point that out.
Yeah, it's actually like buying, like a new car, and you go, all of a sudden you start seeing that car everywhere. Once you become aware of it, it's phenomenal. Just what's actually going on.
That is the reticular activation system at work. There you go. That's my VCE science actually.
So all these stats, the last 2 points, just sort of touching on this, is that business is lost by denying customers a good mobile experience. If the mobile user gets a bad experience when they visit a website, 61% of them probably won't go back, and 40% will go to the competitor's site. That is so true. And once I get into this, I'll touch on a couple of the actual objectives that come to this. But these guys, you don't need to be a brand name to actually lose out on this sort of traffic. And I'll show that is.
And can you go back just to that one slide? Sorry. Because I've got to point something out, because the irony of this is unbelievable, which is 81% of users prefer mobile sites to apps for researching products, while 90% prefer purchasing from mobile sites rather than apps. Source, Adobe, 2011. The one company that is more responsible for perpetrating evil when it comes to smartphones and iPads than any other company in human history. They are the dog turd of producing sites, and I suppose from our perspectives, thank you, Adobe, for doing this, because you have given us the #1 excuse to go in and rescue businesses that have put flash sites up, which Adobe themselves have now dumped on the mobile. So it's incredibly ironic, but a huge opportunity for us, as we will continue to describe as we go through. But back to you. I couldn't let that go.
No, that's fine. So knowing your market behaviours, and this is what I'm going to be basically touching on. I just want to keep this simple. There's nothing different between a web and a mobile website. Well, there's certain aspects of it, but I just want to make this thing very simple and clear that that people somehow have when we start talking about the tiny screen, sort of start going, oh my God, what's happening? I get a bit sort of clouded, and it's all too hard, and do I need to speak to my local telecommunications company, etc. This device, though, when I've actually done other talks and that sort of stuff in an audience where people have said, well, what's the key difference? This is the most personalised media device in our hands. And I normally would say to people, would you actually share your PC with people? And people go, yeah, no problems. And I go, okay, fine. Can you please lend the person next to you your mobile phone? And nobody's going to do it, because it is that personal. It's your device. It's got everything on it. However, this mobile device also gives you all these immediate call to actions. You can engage with the customer so quickly, and this is what we're going to touch on. This is the sizzle and the steak, so to speak. Now, to find out about how the smartphone or how the mobile phone is actually in your own area, there's a free site that's actually been put together by MMA and Google. And it gives you this awesome data that allows you to go and check the penetration, the behavior, the activities in your country. And this is the sort of data that you'll get. Now, I'm skipping through these slides because I'm
I,
actually want
I,
to go.
I was going to say this is sensational. So just have a look at this, people. This is really awesome.
It is, write it down. It's in the presentation, but it's ourmobileplanet.com. It's a free source of data. It allows you to create a chart about any type of behavior in your area. So let's just go with activities, and let's go with search and search engines, frequency, number, and then we'll go next down the bottom here, and let's go US, UK, click next, and then Shazam. Out pops this bar graph of the information in your local area. It's off the hook.
That's very cool.
And obviously you can go back and then select e-commerce, m-commerce, the penetration in your area. You can download those as a CSV file, PNG, go back and create a new chart. Penetration in your area, smartphones, penetration, new. Click next again.
The stats were just released for the US over the last couple of days with Apple's earnings, and the increase in smartphone usage is off the hook. And Apple's gone from 36% of the smartphone market to 56% of the smartphone market in 1 year, because now they're available on all the carriers. So it's fascinating.
Well,
See, look at those first-time smartphone users.
Yeah, 70%. 75 in the UK. First-time smart users. No, that's incredible. So this is how. I hate saying this word, greenfields or blue sky. It's such a .com word. What's available. So take note of that. Ourmobileplanet.com is off the hook. It justifies everything for you to go out there into this marketplace.
Yeah, fantastic data source. Really is very good.
That's another tip that I was taught by Ed in the challenge. Always research your market.
Yeah, there's great data to make people pay attention. There's another site. I'll try to spell it. Asymco, ASYMCO, and some of the data that he has is just as I say, it makes people sit up and pay attention. And I think when you're trying to get the attention of a local business, and I'll keep emphasizing this through the course of this because I want to make this very practical today, is that you have to somehow find a way to get their attention, because they're just so busy with people that approaching them every day. Oh, we can get you customers. Oh, can you be in our directory? Oh, do you want to pay some money to sponsor our school? Oh, do you want to do? They're just bombarded every single day with people wanting to take money from them. So you've got to come up with a way to get their attention.
So just on that note, and that's exactly why that website we showed you. I mean, because you're able to go in there and say these are the Google stats for this country, and that business owner, the small business owner, I mean, that's Google's now a term. They understand what that is. They realise that they need to be or have something to do or be in there, either with Google Places or whatever the case is. So that's something that's going to grab their attention, pretty much immediately.
One key question, this is and everybody should be writing this down, okay, people? You're listening, this is pen and paper time. One question you must ask whenever you're in consultation with a local business was, when was the last time you used the yellow pages, and when was the last time you Googled something? Right? And ask yourselves this right now on the webinar, and just think about the answer to that. I use my yellow pages for various. I sometimes put my camera as an impromptu stand on them because they're quite thick, but it's it's been years since I've used them. So, and even that's me being a tech geek, but I think you'll find even non-geeks Google things almost daily.
Yes, correct. I don't know where mine are actually. Anyway, I guess another telling point about m-commerce and people physically buying stuff on their mobile device, and a lot of in-app purchases I believe are in these figures. I can tell you there's a local jeans company in Australia that's actually doing $30,000 a week in jean sales alone on their mobile site,
Yep.
which is insane. But that's just to give you an understanding of the sort of traffic that's flowing through this opportunity. So traffic. Yes, I'm based down here in sunny downtown Melbourne, near Ed. This
Not
is
so sunny today.
No, the Arctic blast has come up. This is what's actually happening after people are physically doing a search on their mobile devices. 48% of them are going to their site, are going to their small to medium or the small business website. 49% of them are physically calling that business.
Now hang on. Let's go back because that is. Let's not skip over that for a second because this is a huge deal. So we've got here. Now, is there a slide before this? What was the slide? Yeah, there. 48%, almost half today, as we speak, are looking at the business website from their mobile here in Australia, and I think you'll see that Australia is definitely a high uptake when it comes to technology. We are in terms of certainly iPhone, iPad usage. We're just behind Singapore in terms of penetration of the entire country. 1 in every 2 phones sold here in Australia is an iPhone. But I think you'll find and you can go to Our Mobile Planet and have a look for your particular country, you'll find that this stat is quite extraordinary. But that is 1 in every 2 people are going to a business website and looking up from their phone. This is incredible when you consider what those figures were like even 12 months ago. Phenomenal information, and I've got some. And when you consider how bad people's mobile sites are, if they've even considered what a mobile site actually should do and what it is true. I've got some beauty. I've got one example which drives me up the wall. I'm going to out them, and I'm going to shame them in public on this webinar because it drives me banana-rama. And they're otherwise very smart people. I don't understand it. Anyway, sorry. Back to you.
No, that's quite all right. Actually, just when I first started getting into this, I've got to go and see everybody who makes websites with this sort of stuff. They should be doing this.
I've got one client for you straight off the bat. Like they drive me bananas. Anyway, keep going, and I'll.
It sounds very similar. Very similar.
Stick around.
So 49%. There's some really cool stuff coming up about how we can obviously measure this sort of stuff, and then even justify the price that you want to go and charge to these end users, to these customers. So 49% are physically calling the business. Now that's after, this is the main objection I would come up with, and I'll say it now, is that, well, people say, well, I'm on Google Places and, I'm able to call from there. 9 times out of 10, people are physically going, I'm just going to make sure that is actually the right place. So they are clicking off the site and doing a pinch zoom trying to find the number on that actual mobile site.
Yeah,
majority of the traffic does not come from the Google Places site, and the stats will show that we actually do give back to the customers. So you don't need to be a household name to be missing out on this traffic. I've got a couple of examples actually. I've actually got one because I took one of them out because I didn't get their permission at the end. But anyway, have a look at this. Right, this is a website that's actually down in the coast of Melbourne. It's called Mornington, one of the seaside suburbs. And they're just a skin specialist, right? 20% of their traffic is coming off a smartphone. And there it is. You can see iPhone 102, iPad 24, Android, and iPod.
Yeah,
that is 20%. Now that person's website was only just put up last year, at the end of last year.
Yeah.
So your site, these websites, everyone who's been making websites are not designed to fit into a 4-inch screen.
Yeah,
and people go, this is what I had with these web designers. They go, well, we can do that. We can just put in a WordPress plugin, or we can do this plugin on that, and et cetera, et cetera. What you're missing out on is there is too many screen sizes, operating systems out in the marketplace. We've done a complete loop. When I was back in 2006 making apps, we had to make several hundred versions of every app so it would fit on these small feature phones. And then Apple came along, and the clouds cleared, and we could see, the waters parted, and we had one OS system that we were making apps for. And that was fantastic. And they had cross carrier because every carrier was pushing them out. And so it was a revolution that we need to have. Now that Android are back into the market and now taking a fair chunk of the market share because they're on so many different devices and they have a low cost point, then we're now back to where we were back in '06, where we have to now cater for different operating speeds, screen sizes, onboard memory, etc., etc. So we're almost back to where we were again, but having smarter sides. So anyway, here's a great example of a before and after. No, they're not my client, but it's publicly available out there. It's been on a number of press articles already.
Yep.
So that's your standard website. And that's
can I show you one?
website.
Can I show you one because it just drives me up the wall?
All right, go on. Okay.
All right. Can I show you? Now we're going to do something that you probably haven't seen on a webinar before. So hopefully this will work. Now let's change presenter to me. Yes, make me the presenter. Here, we'll show my screen. Now, can you see that? Should be a picture of my girls coming up there. All right. Now I'm just going to flick on this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do this. Okay. With a bit of luck, you can see my iPhone.
Can see it.
Very cool. How about this? How cool is this? Now, what I want to show you is my number one enemy in this. It's a great company. I love these guys. We eat there probably at least once a week. It's called Noodlebox here in Australia. And this website is completely Flash. And here I am trying to, I want to get the menu because I'm hungry here. Right? And I want to get this menu. Oh, look. There's no menu. It's a complete Flash website. It drives me up the wall. It's just shocking. And the business that they lose because people won't click on this because it's Flash. And these are smart people. Their marketing, as a general rule, is fantastic. But they're missing out because their website is abominable on a phone. It's just ridiculous. So it drives me nuts. There you go.
Amen.
Off. So you might want to give them a call later on because, and I'll just get the present. I'll hand back to you, Guy, and make you the presenter.
Thank you.
There you go. You might just have to click OK to say yes again.
Can everyone see that?
Give it a sec. Boom. Got it. Beautiful.
Boom.
We're in town.
Excellent. So, web to mobile working examples, what to present to your local business owner. This becomes the most enjoyable part of the job. It does, actually. Presenting before and after the mobile of your local business site. So, having these sites already on your smartphone and physically going in and showing them the before and afters of their site. I hope you can see the current one up there at the moment. So that's for the Mountain View Hotel, which is in Richmond and Melbourne. And so we're currently actually now also updating their website after we did their mobile site, and this is all part of stemming into these venues. What I like about going to small and local businesses like cafes and hairdressers and the like is that you're generally speaking to the business owner straight away. So you are going to be getting, I believe probably 7 or 8, 9 times out of 10, going to be dealing with the decision maker. So to physically show them something of how their site looks like on the mobile phone, and like I said, when you do go in there, they normally do actually have a smartphone these days. I haven't come across anybody who hasn't had a smartphone, particularly in the pubs and cafe niche that I've been working in at the minute. Once they see the before and after, they get it. And I just normally then carry around a little 2-pager with me that goes through those stats that I just showed you before for what's happening here in Australia, and then some stats of what they would actually get every month. The Glenferrie is another pub that we've just done, and that's the before and after. But there's a new website, so we're actually updating their mobile site. And this is the key selling point that I'll also then touch off with these guys, is to have all their call to actions sitting on top of the screen. So we go back to the views. You can see that there's no pinching or zooming here, like on the mountain view. Up the top, there's the click to call, click to find us, book a table, see what their other menus are, and this enables us to go and change any of this sort of stuff. But it's putting those call to actions up on top, and that's the manipulation that we're able to do on this platform and our little sort of drag and drop platform.
Now, I want to take people through this to see what they've seen. You put one of those sites up, but one of the things that I've been going on and on and on and on and on about for the last 6 months or so is a methodology of selling which has been invented. Invented is the right word, I think, by one of my favourite marketers of all time, and I think perhaps the smartest living marketer at the moment, a guy called Dean Jackson. It was fantastic for him to come along to our Platinum event in Orlando last week, which was very lovely. But Dean has this system which he uses to get clients, and it's called Cheese and Whiskers. Okay, and it's based on the foundation of this simple fact, and he talks about mice, and mice have two prime directives. The first one is to get cheese. Okay, they will, if they think there's cheese on the other side of a 3-inch thick wooden door, they will chew through the 3 inches of that door to get to the cheese. But the first sign of whiskers, they're out of there, right? They are out of there. And that's a problem. And guess what? We humans and marketing work exactly the same way. Like, we will do anything to get cheese, but the moment we smell the first instance of, hey, you need to spend some money, or you've got to buy from us, or any sort of marketing shtick, they're out of there, right? We are dealing with success rates typically of typical salespeople. If you might speak to 10 people, and if you're really, really lucky, you might get one client out of that. Because it's all whiskers. Most people walk into a small business and say, hey, guess what? We want to get more traffic for you. We want to get more business. And they look at you with glazed eyes saying, no thanks. Even if they desperately need new business, they're not interested, right? They are not, because you haven't shown them any interest. And one of the biggest question marks people have about Cheese and Whiskers, because a much better way of going to a Mount View hotel is saying, hey, look, can you handle more birthday parties? And of course, if you contact them with, can you handle birthday parties, you're going to get a response a vast majority of the time, because it's cheese, right? That's what they want. And you take them through the process. And rather than talk about the process here in depth, I really encourage you to do a search for I Love Marketing. I'll put it up on links after this particular webinar, just so it's episode 24 of I Love Marketing. If you Google episode 24, I Love Marketing, you'll find it. And it is just brilliant. But here's the thing that people have a problem with it. They say, well, hang on a second, I engage them with, hey, I get more birthday parties. Yeah, I'd love to get more birthday parties in at the Mount View here. We do great dinners. We've got a special function room that we're capable of. In fact, you can see there the star functions. That's great. But then people say, well, hang on a second, isn't this a bit of bait and switch? Because you're not really after birthday parties. You want to sell them a little mobile website and sell them all of this stuff. And if all of a sudden you're switching around and saying, hey, we want you to pay for this, then that's a problem. But can you imagine, right, and this is the way you did it, right? You just create these sites. So you walk in with the phone and say, here's your site and here's how it looks on a mobile phone. Here's how it could look.
Yeah.
right? Hasn't costed them a cent. You know, you've just done it. And you can do it, of course, because of what you're about to show people.
Yeah.
But do you guys get this? This is why I was so desperate to get Guy on to speak to you, because he's come up with a magnificent cheese and whiskers approach to small businesses, because he can literally walk in with his mobile phone. He's got a 2-pager with the deal and point out these stats. You know, if you get the actual stats of the actual business, they'll, with horror, as you saw with that previous example of, you know, that business. And it's funny, you know, a lot of us see, oh, well, they only had 120 visitors last month. Oh, isn't that a bit sad? But do you understand, for businesses, that's what they expect. And if they've lost 48% of those visitors because they've got a website like Noodlebox, which is Flash, and you can't contact them or do anything with it, that is 48% of inquiries that have never even clicked the phone button to get in touch with them. It's a disaster for a business. And most people are pissing this away. And this is the huge opportunity for you. And what Guy very cleverly has done has gotten a completely friction-free way of getting in through the door and showing them something cool immediately at no cost and no risk to them. And that's what makes Cheese and Whiskers really sing, is removing all risk from the transaction. So, sorry, Guy, to jump in on that sermon there, but I really wanted to make the point that...
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
This is why this stuff is so important. Continue.
Thank you. That was fantastic. I'm going to skip through these just quickly because I'll go back to them. I've actually put the format in the wrong way. But anyway, these are the call to actions that we are able to physically place onto a mobile website. So you can see the click to call, the e-commerce, the check-in service with Google and others, Foursquare, Facebook, etc., opening hours, sharing content, QR codes, navigation, LBS, contact forms, coupons, which is now can start going off the hook.
I was going to say, what you just used? You used some funny terms there.
I did, didn't I? LBS, which is location-based services, but it's actually sitting here as location-based directions. Location-based services is what's happening right now with Google Places. It's happening. That's all local search is. It's physically you're in your area going down, you know, Main Street in Cityville, and you've gone, where's a best place to get this meal, or you know, what type of restaurant, etc. And then because of the location of your mobile device, and you've got maybe the location service already activated on, it's going to show you the people that are physically around you. So that's all about location-based services. That's what that is, and that's just, I guess, in its really raw form, what it really is all about.
Yep.
This is real stats, real engagement. This is what I also walk around with, plus other two little stats.
Can I just highlight something else here that has just in those feature sets is coupons.
Oh yeah,
you know, coupons are big. I read an article. I think it was in The Economist. I'll have to go through my Instapaper to have a look at the exact article. But the coupon business is in a renaissance. Like it is literally, you know, it is becoming a major driver of business. Like there are phenomenal numbers. It's almost smartphone-esque type numbers, particularly in Western countries, US, UK, Australia, even New Zealand, apparently.
It's actually going off in throughout Southeast Asia. Thailand is going nuts.
Coupon crazy. Yeah, it is just so, you know, and there's obviously the high profile stuff of like Groupon and so on, but it's actually, you know, where you can actually talk more directly to your client base through their phone that it makes a big deal. But anyway, sorry, continue.
No, that's fine. It's one of the other features that we're working on heavily to make sure that we've got a coupon service in there, which I'll show you, but then we are doing a complete, you know, circle and actually making it into a loyalty card as well that'll stay on the site but recognize you as that's your loyalty card from your phone. And so it's a bit of a cookie issue and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, so this is real stats, real engagement from it was literally, this was the Glenfrey Hotel when we first turned it on.
Yeah.
Oops. So you can start seeing the traffic, 695 unique page views, 30 clicked on the maps, and 23 calls were made.
Okay, now hold the phone.
Let's hold it.
Right, because this is huge. If you, as a typical local business consultant, go in and tell you, hey, we did great this month, we gave you 695 unique page views. Boring, Snoresville, that means nothing to real people. It means absolutely nothing to anybody. But if you can say, we made your phone ring 23 times this month, that is a big deal for most local businesses. Because then if you can go on to say if you're a chiropractor who has a yearly customer value of about $1,000 per new client, you know, of those 23 clicks to call made, if they get 2 new clients, you know, chiropractors, all of a sudden that's $2,000 a month, sorry, $2,000 over the course of the year revenue that they weren't going to have originally. So by saying that here are people click to call, in other words, here's somebody pressed the button and called you from their phone. Because here's the big problem. You know, a lot of people try to do these local consulting, business consulting stuff, and they classic, oh yeah, my receptionist takes the stats, and we really haven't noticed much inquiry from the website. They may have had 30 inquiries a month, but the receptionist never asks them, where did you hear about us? Or really insist upon it. It's relying on a human being to do it, which is disaster for your local business consultancy. Disaster. You need to have some way of collecting stats. And this is a huge deal. Number one mistake people make, because you can be creating this business for people and you can be delivering all this information for people, and after a while they're saying, why are we paying Guy this money? Why are we doing that? It's, you know, we don't really hear from him. Everything's going well, right? It's not a problem. But they start asking, well, why are we paying this check each month? 23 calls is why you're paying this check each month. 30 map directions, people finding you, is why we are paying this money this month. And it gives you an excuse to talk to your clients. People forget about the after unit, looking for excuses to speak to clients after they've got their business. Most people forget that. Most local business consultants forget that. And it's such a huge deal. So having this sort of data is pure, unadulterated gold. Continue on, Guy.
Thank you. Now, I'm just going to show you just how easy it is to go and make this environment. These are just the screenshots of how it is. These are the feature sets that we've got. We can place in. And this is the analytics. So might as well just go and jump straight into.
We're going to do this live.
We're going to do this live. Cannot open Pacific. Okay.
That's because it's because you're using PowerPoint.
Oh, look at that. Yes, it is. And if you notice, I've got URL. Oops.
Just jump over.
Yeah. Oops. Oh, I've opened up the wrong one of that.
Hey, actually, while you're bringing that, you're right. You got it.
Yeah, got it. All good.
All right, because I was going to show them how it looks, but you keep going.
Here is the start of, just don't worry about the immediate edge we put in there, just mucking around with setting up a demo account.
Yep.
But this is the step-by-step of taking care of just how easy this is of making a site. So we've got our little tool set here. We've got our little description area here. It is literally a step-by-step environment. So again, language, we're able to cater for up to 30 different languages, so we can expand that out even more. So if you want to go and target a particular niche or a community within your country, then we're able to go and, like I said, cater for it. Obviously, times we cater for. So this is just the basics of setting up the actual site. Putting in your logo is just grabbing the URL or physically uploading an image. And that will then, you can see my mouse at all? Can you see my mouse?
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, you can see where you're pointing, no problem.
Yep, so that will then update that little section there. Then we've got the themes. And this is where, we're able to change the look and feel of the theme. So as I scroll through, we can change how it looks, and put in whatever you think is going to be a fair template that you want to go and use.
Yep. And these are the
Right?
core functions, right? And it's very important for people to understand here, right? This is not an app, right? There's a lot of, you know, maybe I've told people a bit about apps, just recently, maybe a little bit. Not, I try not to go over the top or anything, but just, every now and then mentioning how big the app business is. But what's fascinating about this, and it's horses for courses, and what we're doing here, this is a mobile website. This is not an app, right? This is what people see when they go into their browser, which is the way people are looking for stuff. So a lot of businesses don't need an app because they've got these core functionalities that they need right on this. They just don't need it. But continue on.
It's actually something I get asked a lot, because how you physically save this on your home screen, if you've got an iPhone, it does look like an app. So when I'm presenting to the owner of the business, they say, "Have you actually built an app for me?" So no, I haven't actually. That's just how it looks. So I mean, there's now a term that's sort of been phrased around there called mobile web app. Anyway, not to digress, but and then people say, "Well, how much is it to get an app?" and that sort of stuff, and I'll say, "Look, this is the best way to go and justify you having an app." So to see the sort of traffic, and are you wanting to build a community? What do you want to do in your Blue Widgets community? How do you want this thing to roll? So anyway, I'll go on, but this is the basics of setting up the whole site.
Yep.
And we're updating this whole site at the moment to include.
And this is just to point out to people, because it looks like it almost looks like a video demonstration, but this is live, right? You're pressing these buttons and you're making the changes.
Correct. This is we've got the three sections up here. It's design and features, and that's pretty much all you need to worry about. And then obviously the analytics of what you will see when you come back into it of the traffic. So call to us is, as you can see there, where my mouse is, call to us. This is the actual number that you basically stick in. Then we have options just to show you, or what position you actually want this in. So I might want that to go to position 2, and then that will then update the site to take from 1 to 2. So the grid starts from left to right and works all the way around. This is to find us.
So it's position 1, position 2, position 3.
Position 1,
grid,
yep.
Right?
2, 3, correct, yep. So then we've got location. We've got full website. Now, let me just touch on the full website thing. What we're building here is a landing page environment. And if somebody still wants to then go off to the main website and do a pinch and zoom, because all smartphones enable you to, they adjust how the site looks, then we can still go off into this environment. And we can also transcode the site, meaning that we can take the site on the fly and mobilize it. So taking away all the the massive images and shrinking it all down into a more readable version. So these are the feature sets that we do have in here. Opening hours is a great one as well. If your venue is not open at that time, then it will actually have a red circle with a cross through it, saying that you're not open if somebody does go to it.
Nice.
Booking requests. What sort of style of things you've got as a restaurant and other. We do allow you to then plug into other services that you might have. So a link to an existing booking page, which might already be optimized for mobile or not, but we can then jazz that up if it's not.
Yeah, if they've got in the US, for example, Open Table, they could put in their Open Table link, and Open Table is definitely mobile ready because they realize it. Because here's the thing, just to throw in another stat for people, on Valentine's Day of this year, 80% of restaurant searches that were done on Valentine's Day were done from a mobile phone. 80% of searches. 80.
Wow. A little bit about us. We've got products that we can place in there, services. We can touch into. You can see this when you go and target your businesses. You can actually cater for everything that business is more or less has got. So if it's a product, you can set up a product page or a shopping cart. With the shopping cart environment, then you can plug in your, either Google or PayPal details, what currency you want to use, add items, etc. Coupons, services, it's basically all here. Now I could spend the next hour going through all this. Well, I should actually, probably. QR code reader, so we can generate a QR code, pick what page you actually want. So if we did have a coupon in there, we can then have the actual QR code being generated for the actual coupon. Then you can have that QR code sitting outside. Somebody could then physically use their QR code reader and then see what the coupon is, see what the special is for that venue. We've thought of everything.
That's fantastic, and that's so complicated. I mean, seriously, you have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out.
We've also,
and
just
I'm obviously being incredibly sarcastic. I mean, that's very easy. It's all point and click, and this is why it's so good, because if you want to target a client, you could easily go and target. By the way, that's Valentine's Day stat was 62%, and I'm just putting a link into the chat room so people can see that. But still, 62% is amazing.
So site translations, that so you've got it defaulted for English, but then you can actually add this icon into it, and then people are able to choose whatever language, like I said, up to 30. We can then monetize the site. We've only got Google and AdMob in there at the minute. So you can put in your AdSense account into it if you want to stick ads in. Traffic boost, a little bit of SEO stuff, or just basically having the right keywords in there, and etc., because of the continual requests for searches that are actually happening on mobile. Now, the ironic thing about mobile search is that people are writing more stuff into their search boxes than they do on a desktop. However, the spelling mistakes are also off the hook. So a great way of actually making sure that you're going to get all the correct words is to turn off your spell check on your iPhone, and then write in your keyword 10 times and just see how many times, different variations you do get it. That's a tip for
and Google's pretty good at with the spelling mistakes these days too. So
true. So yeah, Google Analytics, in case that you wanted to then do some cross-referencing, so you can stick that in as well.
No, and that's very important, because you can add that into, you may use Google Goals. In fact, somebody just asked a question on the forum, and I'd said, look, I didn't know, but there you go. So you can add your Google Analytics tracking code straight in, which is fantastic. That's wonderful.
And then if you want to get rid of our branding, you just go to the advanced section and turn off suppress branding. So happy days.
Yeah.
So that's
very cool.
Yeah. So there's the basic features. You can sort of bring everything across that you want to include on that site. One of the big things that we've now seen is the callback button is actually works really well for the if they can't get through to the number, it's engaged. Then we're sticking the callback number in. So people physically put in their phone number, say, hey, please give me a call back, and they do. The coupon services, putting an offer name in. When the coupon does expire from the date, it will disappear from the physical site. So, this could be a free beer, show to claim, add to site, and there's a coupon there.
I had a question for push notifications won't work with a web template site. Is that's
that is correct,
isn't it? Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But
no, this is where. However, SMS, I think I noticed.
Yes. Yep.
So this is something where you could use an SMS system and incorporate that with this.
Correct. Yep.
But push notifications, that is the purview of an app.
That is it. That is it, because there's a recipient on the actual device that allows them to say, well, I'm accepting notifications.
It's interesting. I think SMS marketing actually is an interesting one. When I originally heard of SMS marketing, I thought there is nothing I would hate more than getting SMS messages from businesses. But what I've found actually is that as long as I've given permission for that business to send me the text, I actually quite I don't find them disruptive at all. Like if I know that my local pub's got a 2-for-1 chicken parma going on, then that might encourage me to take Rob Somerville out as opposed to leaving him at home because I'm a cheapskate. That might work to do it that way. So they're the sorts of things that you can have a look at. And again, what's great about all this stuff is I bet you most businesses haven't even thought of half of this stuff. And you come in there and you show them this, and you just look like a genius. You look like and this is what we found, right, Guy, is that you're using this as it's like your bridge. It's like your D-Day invasion. You use this to get in the door, and then you start getting into the real meat of it, which is just fantastic.
Yeah, everything else has flowed on from this. I mean, it's very easy to go and use this. And you get your demo up, you go in there, and the other day actually, the Glenferrie the Glenferrie Hotel is part of. They have 30 pubs in their group, and now I'm building 30 websites for them because they all want to be on the same platform. Now they want to engage, for social media. They're now putting somebody on to actually, control this for the group. I've pointed them straight to the challenge, so they're on the same page of everything that I'm talking about. And so it just does steamroll. So what has actually been the entree is this mobile site, having all the information there is great. Can you do this? Or by the way, we actually want to have a new website. If we're going to be doing this, let's have a new website. I still go and put up the mobile site on the old one anyway, so they've got some running stats. And then we're just building out all these other sites. So it is a beautiful entree into looking after a particular niche.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Guy, I don't want to preempt your presentation, but how much? Yeah, but I am. How much are you charging clients for, like the hotels and things like that?
Charging
just ballpark figures.
Yeah, I'm charging anywhere $500 for a setup, and around $50 a month, or $49 a month.
Yeah,
and that's for the reporting. And one of the big fees that we have negotiated on a big part is because there's so many mobile devices out there, we've got to make sure that this is going to be optimized for all those mobile devices, and it's what we call a redirecting or a transcoding fee. So when a mobile device visits the website, it gets redirected to the mobile landing page, and it's got to say, hey, this is an iPhone, or this is an Android HTC Desire, or this is a BlackBerry RIM, or heaven forbid a Nokia N70 that's Symbian. So that's what we happen. That's one of the major things that we need to take care of. That's the smarts really behind it. Now, once you actually the magic of this is literally a piece of code that gets placed into their website like you would place in Google Analytics. It's literally a 2-line piece of code that goes in the head of their website, and that is it. Everything else happens after that. That's how easy this is to actually implement it.
Yeah, and you could do and as part of your setup fee, you just sort that out and get that, because these are businesses that are used to being charged. People say, oh, $500, that's a fair bit, but honestly, how much in your experience, how much are people getting charged for their actual main websites as small businesses? I'm seeing figures from anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 for brochure pages, usually with Flash, which drive me up the wall. There's an incredible opportunity here for you to become the best friend of these businesses because they're getting so ripped off all the time, which is just fantastic.
I went and saw the Arcadia, which is another hotel, and they were screaming sort of black and blue because they had just signed off on I think it was $7,000 to have a new website and it to be mobilized.
To be mobilized, exactly. it is just crazy. Can I just show a couple of things on my screen, Guy, and let
Yeah,
you get back
please.
into your presentation? Because I just want to show people how nifty this all is. So let me just bring that back to me, make me the presenter, show my screen. Just let me know when you can see this, and I might clean this up a little bit and do this. Oops, no, not that. Do that, and then do this. Beauty. Look at this dual. Can you see that, Guy? You've got the dual screens.
Um,
It might take a minute just to refresh. Just let me know.
yep, got it now.
Fantastic. So check this out. So here we've got, this is live, this is real time, this is not, this is not a video, this is me. So you can see here's another local Thai restaurant, excellent Thai restaurant. And until recently, until I mentioned to them, they had a total flash site. You know, one of those great flash sites where, they pretend the web page is like a menu and you have to flick through the menu. It's crazy. So if we have a look at my iPhone over here, so now look at that. Isn't that a fantastic page? Look at it. Can you read any of that? I mean, it's just, it's pretty small. Right, now they have fixed it a little bit, but look, they've got this picture, and if I zoom in here, you might be able to read it. In fact, what happens if I don't know what happens if I do this. Look at that.
Oh, there we go.
Right, this is crazy. Look at that. That's their thing. Now they do, to their credit. Now I can tap in that very, if I've got really good finger control, I can tap this menu, which according to user interface design, is just horrific, because people have to hope that they can touch that. Look at that. It's just crazy. So then if we go to let's have a look. If we go to our good old Wayside Inn here, now this is one of your sites, right?
Correct, yeah.
So and you can see actually on the left I've got the iPad, which is actually showing the traditional website, right? This is
Yep, that's correct.
This
Yep.
is not and they don't have a lot of, they have this huge, and if I was talking with them, I'd argue the food does look fabulous, but really, do you have to take the entire real estate of your website to show how fabulous the food is looking before you get down to the meat of why people would want to be there? But have a look at this. Look at I actually prefer, now here, I've got the mobile site. Click to make a booking, call front bar, menu, Twitter, Facebook, send us a message. How simple is that? That's what we want to see. Right? It just makes it really, really nice and simple. So, we tap for a menu, or we tap for, look at that. So much more. That's what I want to see. When I go to one of these sites, I want to get the information, and I love these people for it. And if I click to make a booking, boom, I can call them and make a booking. Done. That's how easy this stuff is. Now, what you didn't see, because I actually had already looked at it, obviously had the site up before we were on this call, is if you have a little thing which floats down to say, and a lot of people don't know about this, and I just pointed out as a trick, what I've done is I've tapped that right down the bottom. You see there's a rectangle with an arrow coming out of the corner. If I tap that and I go add to home screen, look at that. It actually creates, and it looks like, and this is what Guy was talking about how it creates what looks, if you're a punter, if you're Joe and Jane Smith, as far as you're concerned, this is an app. Right, but you've automated this, right? So this actually all happens automatically if you go to a site for a first time. So
Yep.
if I click add,
Refresh
right, and
the
it'll zip
screen.
across, boom, there it is. Look at that. Now, to all intents and purposes, right, everybody, that looks like a app. Tap on it. Now, the great thing about all of this, there are no approval processes, right, Guy?
No.
no approval processes. You can have it working immediately. You can walk into that business, and if they give you access to their site, within 10 minutes they can have a fully functioning site which you actually already built for them, and it's done. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to do it. For the menu, you could either get your virtual assistant to type that in for you. You could use Fiverr to get somebody to type that in for you. You could do any of those sorts of things, so that you for less than if you spent $10, $10 whole acquiring a client, $10 acquiring a client. Don't you think that'd be worth it for a 500 setup fee and $50 a month continuity? Certainly makes sense to me. And by goodness, with the new, as somebody was pointing out in the chat room, with the new PayPal, you could just get them to swipe their credit card on the spot.
Yeah.
And you're done, right? You just use your Square reader in the United States, or you use your PayPal, and you're done. Job done. All there on the spot. You walk into a business with your iPhone, because you don't want to go in there with an Android phone and look like a leper. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Well, sort of not kidding, really, but but there you have it. How cool is that, everybody? Seriously, how cool is that? Oops. And so what am I going to do here? What do? We go there, back to there, and I'll come back to you guys. So get ready. Where are you, Guy? Where are you? Here we are. Make your screen. Make you the presenter. All right, there you go.
Everyone can see me? No? Yes?
Not yeah. Just give it a minute. It just takes a little while for it to. When you're flicking over, it takes a little while for it to refresh across. Won't be long.
Oh, there we go.
And I should say we're sort of getting towards the end here. So if people have got questions, if they want to pop it into the menu, then feel free, and we'll take as many questions as we can.
That's why that demo link didn't work, because I had URL instead of HTTP. How's that? What a goose!
Yeah. That's all right. All right. So now, mate, how do people get this? What have you developed here? What's the story? I think we've done a lot in really demonstrating the value of using this type of, being able to walk in with an iPad or an iPhone and get your foot in the front door, because you say, here's how your site looks now. It looks like rubbish. Here's how it could look. And you can have it done in 10 minutes.
This is, to go through the normal, hey, it's normally this, it's that. We have a wholesale arrangement. All right, so what we normally do, because we actually have been approached by the actual some of the website guys that are out there, because the owners will go back to their website people and say, well, I want to be offering this to them. I don't want you to be offering it. And I said, well, I can make you a wholesaler, and this is what the wholesale cost is going to be. So everything gets set up in a sense that our name's taken off it. You still use our website to go and build all your environment. However, as you could see, you could suppress the actual branding. You can put your own branding in it, etc. So it becomes a complete offering that what you're doing.
So for all intents and just to explain that, then, for all intents and purposes, you're offering. So you could then go and sell this to as many businesses and everything that you like. And it's yours, right? It's your system. You're of course using the mobile ad system, but it is, for all intents and purposes, it's yours. You could call it the Profit Max Local Business Service Solution, and you could call it whatever you like. Yeah, correct. Mobile Edge. I think that's probably gone, but but whatever you want to call, you can call it.
Correct, and. So you guys then need to obviously be competitive in the marketplace and realize that, the monthly fee for having these sites, because there's a monthly fee involved, for paying for the redirection and optimization and the hosting of the site and all that sort of stuff. So for today and for this webinar, we're going down to $4.97 to do this, to set up the wholesale environment, right? That's a one-off. That's it. So it's a saving of $1,000+. And then the wholesale pricing is going to be $5 per site per month. It's normally $9. I didn't even put that in there. But if that's somebody who comes up to us normally, we normally charge them $1,500 because we're obviously then we're basing that on missed opportunities and revenues that they're going to go out there as well, plus all the hard coding and everything else that we need to go and do with that to replace that information. And then we've then halved the actual monthly fee for that actual mobile site. So you can go out there and charge literally whatever you like. You can go out there and charge $9 if you want to be super competitive in the market space, or you can go and charge $49 a month like we do directly as well. It's up to you, but that's the base fee.
So Guy, just to be clear on that, so they don't have to pay you any more monthly fees.
They pay
you a monthly fee on top of this.
No, they pay the $4.97, which makes them a wholesaler.
Yeah.
And then every time they make a mobile site,
yep,
right,
mm-hmm.
There's a base fee of $5 for that site.
Yep.
Okay, per month. $5 per month per site. So if you've got 100 sites.
Right, okay, so that is per month. I just wanted to be clear about that.
Yep, that's not very clear.
And that covers the hosting and
everything.
All of those sorts of things.
Yeah. It covers
update of the site. If you add a new feature, they get the new feature.
Yes, they get all updates. Like there's going to be a new update running on the actual 30th of April. We're going to put in new services in there.
Yep.
And so all the additional features that we're going to be putting, like the new couponing, there's going to be new templates that we're uplifting, etc. And that obviously that $4.97 includes your first site as well, so you can walk around with your own site, and then we can start doing 30-day free trials for those customers as well, included in that. So
well, hang on, let's be careful about this. So 30-day free trial, so they could, like we're saying, go in and show a company and not only show them the demo, but then say, hey, look, try it for 30 days. Let's have a look at the stats.
Yes.
See what you think.
Yes.
See, that's. I can't tell you, everybody, and I hope you've got out of this the sales psychology of, and this is why I wanted you guys to see it, because Guy's doing so well with this, and it's so awesome of him to be showing us this. Because people are often saying to me, one of the biggest problems with local consulting businesses is that they don't know how to get their foot in the door. And what an incredible way to get your foot in the door. You walk in, you show them the app, you say, hey, you can do this. Hey, I'll tell you what, let's try it for 30 days. And of course, what happens in the 30 days? You get the analytics, right? You show them the data. And if you then come back to them and say, well, we made the phone ring 23 times a month. Do you want to turn this off, or look, for a one-time fee of $500 and $49 a month, we'll look after this. We'll keep it up to date as new services and features come on stream. We will make those available to you. And of course, the beauty of this is, of course, everybody, is that you're administrating the site from a central source, right, Guy?
That's
so
correct.
If there's a cool new change or a new template you want to apply, or there's no, boom, it's done like that. No app approval process, no, having to get people to update their sites. It just happens like magic. The new functionality is just rolled out instantaneously right across the board.
And it's gold.
It is. It's cool.
It is gold. Now, I mean, we do have another level if you really want to, but I'd suggest we're going with this, and I'll just slip this in at the last minute, and that is if you wanted to have a complete agency site, everything is completely branded in your own, then you'll have to contact us directly or contact Ed directly. That's if you want to have the complete white label agency solution, that the whole site is completely changed, if you feel that you're actually up for it. But I've only just stuck that in at the last minute. So anyway, your own billing, your own pricing, all that sort of stuff. So then you can go out there and resell to other resellers in your own area. Anyway.
Okay. So how? No. Well, let me clarify that, because that might be interesting for some larger play. So then there's no monthly fees to you. There's no anything. They own it.
Yep.
And so what's this minimum monthly fee though here, the $300? What's that?
The $300, yeah, well that will include the first 100 sites. I can put all that stuff down.
Yeah.
So if there's interest in that, I'll certainly expand that a lot more. I probably needed to expand that a lot more. That's a very good question of what's actually included and how things are included in
Yeah,
that.
if you're interested, because what the opportunity is here is for you to effectively, um, you know, own. Well, be careful how I say this. Inverted commas, own the system outright. So you're being the guy. So you can sell it to other people who then go out and sell it to other local businesses. Does that make sense? That's what we're talking about here?
Yep,
I don't
that
want
is
to put words in
correct.
your mouth.
No, that's
So
it. So you can, yep,
yeah,
that's right.
that to me, like that could be very interesting business for the right type of person who gets that. And the monthly fee will go to, again, when you update the system, they're going to get the updates, right? They don't have to pay
Correct.
extra for updates. They don't have to pay extra for any of that stuff,
That's correct.
except for the obvious fee, right?
Yep. So that is absolutely correct. So everything is it is like you've made and put this thing out there, and it's your service, and you're out there selling it,
Yeah,
and having
totally.
your own resellers and out there in the marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so if people want to take advantage of this guy, how do they do so?
They would go to then this link that's on their screen at the moment, which is mytinyad.com/the-edge for the immediate edge users. They would then sign up through that process on that page. There's a link down the bottom, and they will be getting a welcome email in that, and that in that email it also then has all the information that you need to become the wholesaler. Because there's also a promotion code in there, or the promotion code is your wholesaler code, I should say, that every time you then go and do an update of or sell another site, that's what you then use to make sure that you get that wholesale pricing.
Yeah, fantastic. And if there's now, if people have any questions, how do they get in touch with you, Guy, directly? What's the best way to get in touch?
They can get in touch with me directly at guy@mytinyad.com. That's or info@mytinyad.com. They're the two. Go on.
I'm told by, I'm not sure whether it's you or me, but apparently, according to some of our US listeners, that either you or me sound like the Geico lizard, apparently, on the Geico ads in the US, which is I will take that as a deal. But encourage you, particularly if you're interested in the wholesaling stuff, then I think it's a good idea for you to get in touch with Guy.
Yep.
Guy will work with you direct. You're happy to do that, mate. Training, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem at all.
You're super keen to do all of that, which is fantastic. Now, don't go anywhere, people, because we're going to now do questions and answers. But again, just to clarify, if you want to take advantage of that special offer for you guys, because that's how we roll here, trying to look after you, then it is www.mytinyad.com/the-edge. So that is that. And again, I hope everybody was listening in terms of the sales psychology and the sales processes involved in this, because what really, when I saw a guy doing this, I said, oh, look, can we show people this? Because I think it's just a wonderful, wonderful cheese and whiskers way of getting into local businesses and really helping. You're just a hero from go to woe. It's the entire process is one where you are the hero, which is fantastic. So this is marvelous.